Yo guys, Max here. In today's video I'm going to tell you about Coach Kyle. So I watched one of his latest videos, one in which he's talking about his coaching students, and I've noticed a few things. He's talking about the mistakes that his coaching students make, which is very fair, but I've noticed a few things that we can improve on. To be honest, I really like Coach Kyle. I think he's a great guy and a lot of what he says makes sense. Although when I was watching this video, I felt that what he was saying was very surface value there.
And his delivery was really off. The way that he was talking when he would be interacting with women or trying to make it flirty, he would have this very formal tonality.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's a video to show how his coaching goes, and he does this to get more clients. But you should not take everything at face value. In practice, your body language, your eye contact, your demeanor, the way you carry yourself, and the way you talk, it's going to play a huge role, and most guys, they don't get that right. In this video, he's showing the mistakes his students make, and he's telling them ways to fix those. But if you take this at face value, you're going to miss a lot of nuances. When one of his students approaches a girl, he's telling the guy to do things differently, but when you do this, you are fixing the symptom. You're not fixing the root cause that crashes the guy's game. So in this video, we're going to criticize this a little bit to make sure that when you're approaching girls, you're not just faking what works, but you really embody and believe what works. It's very interesting because in his video, he's talking about one of his students who's having a very weird and bad body language when he approaches. To be fair, this is the biggest pain point and the biggest problem most guys who do coaching in terms of boot camps have. Whenever I have a boot camp student, I see these mistakes all the time. So if all guys are making those mistakes, you're probably making those mistakes as well. I remember very vividly a last coaching student of mine I had. He was very knowledgeable about all the theory, all the pickup techniques, so on and so forth, but whenever he would approach a girl, the girl would immediately move away from him. The problem is not that he was stupid, the problem is not that he didn't know what to do. The problem is that in practice, when he was in front of the girl, he made fundamental mistakes that ruined everything. And even with all the pickup and the seduction and the dating knowledge in the world, if you don't do the fundamentals right, you're not gonna get results. So then we tried to fix those fundamentals for him, and it was very hard for him to integrate those things because he never heard of those things. Things, for example, such as put your feet in a certain position so that your body faces the girl in a certain way so that she feels comfortable. You know, like stuff like that. You might understand on an intellectual standpoint that you can't put your body too close from a girl, but in practice, what does it mean? It's difficult to know. Now, what I don't recommend you do, and that's what he does, Coach Kyle, in his video, and that's what I want to criticize this, what you should not do is put rules in place to emulate the behavior of a guy who's naturally attractive. Because when you really think about it, the way you put your body relatively to the body of the woman in front of you, this comes down to your mindset. This comes down to how close do you believe that you have to be to the woman in front of you, how close do you believe it's going to be efficient, and how close do you believe it's comfortable enough for her. Now, of course, if you don't know, you don't know, but the thing is that even when you know that you have to put, in theory, 2 shoulders width apart from the girl, even when you know that on an intellectual standpoint, you're not going to do the right thing when you're in front of the girl because you forget, because you're not really sure how it happens in real life, or because you're too nervous and you don't think about that. And so my whole point is that instead of memorizing techniques to do this properly, just embody the behavior that's going to have you naturally do those things right. I can very well tell you that when you're in front of a girl, yes, you have to have a certain distance, you have to have 30 centimeters at least away from her. That's easy to say, but once you're in front of the girl, what do you do? How do you put yourself? You have to emotionally understand and feel how it's like to be too close or too far away from a girl that you are approaching. Feeling something emotionally is literally the only way to learn something when it comes to dating, and you can't feel that emotionally if you just go by rules or techniques. So for a second, I want you to forget about all dating, all pickup, all seduction advice you've ever heard in your life, and just think for a moment. Here's a stranger in front of you. How do you feel about opening up to that stranger? And how do you think that stranger is gonna be feeling about opening up to you? If you come from this frame of mind, it's very easy to naturally calibrate your behavior to the girl in front of you because you're going to approach from a distance naturally that's going to be a little bit too far away for your approach to be efficient. but it's normal and natural to start a little bit too far away, and you're going to micro-calibrate based on the reaction of the girl. I understand it sounds a little bit advanced, and that's why nobody talks about it, because when you explain this stuff in a video, it sounds fucking autistic, let's be honest. But in practice, when you emotionally feel it, you do all those complicated sounding things totally naturally. For instance, if you don't have pickup techniques in mind and you don't have an outcome in mind, when you go up to a girl, you're not going to think, okay, what do I do to get her? How do I put my body so that she feels whatever? You're going to think, here's a stranger, how do I make her comfortable, and how do I engage the conversation in a comfortable way? When you approach girls with this frame of mind, away from any outcome dependence, and you're just there to enjoy the interaction, you're going to do all those things naturally. You're not gonna be nervous, you're gonna put your body normally in front of her. And the thing is that whenever you're gonna feel pressure, well, you're going to react properly, because if you are attached to the outcome and you don't want the girl to go and you want the pickup session to be successful, if you open a girl and she walks away, you're gonna tend to lean towards her, you're gonna tend to walk behind her a little bit. But if you're in the frame of mind of just going up to a girl and starting the conversation to see what happens, if you say hi, you're gonna stand straight, and if she goes away, you're still going to stand straight, because you don't care about the outcome. So yeah, that's pretty much my gripe with this video. It's that it's focused way too much on the outcome, and that's a problem, because when you focus so much on the outcome, you actually push that outcome away. That's kind of the paradox with dating. The less you try, the less you want it to work, the more it works. And it goes this way because girls can feel it. Girls are going to feel when you're awkward and nervous, of course, but girls are also going to feel when you fake and when you hide being awkward and nervous. Now, one thing is true though, when you're in field and you're approaching a girl and you have someone telling you what to do, those micro advices, piece of advices like put your feet there, turn your body this way, when you're in field, it helps because it's going to recalibrate your behavior. But alone, this is not enough. You need to understand the frame of mind that you must come from. There is this other moment in the video I found quite funny. It's when he tells the guy to not have a platonic voice. Bro, I'm sorry, with all due respect, a platonic voice doesn't exist. Like, what does it mean? It means nothing. Your voice can be neutral, your voice can be monotonous, your voice can be happy. It's, again, all surface level. You're not gonna get someone to be fun and engaging and exciting and excited and outgoing by telling him to not be monotonous. And if you really push this and you're someone who is having a hard time showing a high range of emotions when you're talking, someone comes and they tell you to not be monotonous, you're gonna sound fucking weird. Like, you're going to force it and it's going to come off as very unnatural and strange. And again, that's the funny thing, because if you do it wrong, girls are going to dislike it, but if you fake doing it right while coming from the wrong mindset, girls are going to feel it as well. So is there no solution? Well, no, you might as well give up on girls. Maybe not. There actually is a solution. The solution is to actually understand the mindsets that work, and while you work on developing those mindsets, you keep in mind the micro calibration things that you do right or wrong to do more of those. Yes, you need to know that your voice cannot be monotonous, but changing that is not about forcing on your throat when you're speaking. Changing that is about becoming more comfortable expressing your emotions, and that's something I don't see him mention at all in the video. That's too bad, because that's kind of key. I remember this coaching student I had a couple of months back who was very, very knowledgeable about dating, but whenever he would approach a girl, he would totally freak out. I actually saw him again a couple of days ago approaching a girl when I was doing some day game myself, and I could see from the outside how uncomfortable and nervous he was. So when we were working together, I told him countless times to not focus so much on the outcome, to care less about getting the girls, to focus on enjoying the interaction and to lead the conversation to some place that feels good and enjoyable to everyone while trying to close the girl. But eventually I cannot force him to actually do those things, and I cannot force him to care less about the girls he approaches. The thing is that even if all the coaches in the world, they are telling you what to do, if you want to naturally, without faking anything, because by the way, that doesn't work. If you want to naturally get results with girls, you have to change the mindset where your actions come from. Anyways, that's pretty much everything for this video. Again, I really like Coach Kyle. I don't mean to bash on him, but I figured knowing this nuance, this subtle nuance, would help you guys a lot. Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Let me know if you would like to see more, well, analysis of other big names in the dating seduction coach niche, and I will see what I can do. I think it's a very interesting thing to do because it's always very hard to grasp the nuances with all the advice that you see around. I really enjoyed making this video. I actually really like Coach Kyle, and I think overall it's a very interesting thing to do because there is so much information out there. I am having a great time looking at what other people do, the advice other dating coaches give, and how it can help or sometimes not help you. It's nice to take a step back and have a little bit of a wider perspective on the matter. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.